Gregg, Maya, and Betty are not experts, nor do they claim to be. They're just a bunch of nerds who enjoy talking about movies, shows, and current events. So sit back, grab a coffee, relax, and enjoy a brand new episode of All Queued Up.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of All Queued Up, the review podcast tied to streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO Max, Disney Plus, etc., etc., etc. I'm your host, Gregg Dietz, and with me always is Maya, Don Fisher, and Betty Badger. How's everyone been? How you two been? How's everything going?
How you doing?
How you doing?
Maya?
Okay.
I always defer to you. I was going to let you go. I've been doing really good this week. More exciting news. Got a letter from the Social Security Administration saying that my Social Security number has been updated to my new legal name. And I'm just waiting on the new card to arrive any day so I can go get my ID and all my banking information changed and updated. And then I'll be 100% totally legally Maya forever.
Yay!
Forever.
Yeah. So,
that's
you
great.
know, there's been that. Yeah, I'm excited.
Did you know that today, the day of recording this, is Trans Visibility Day?
I did. I became aware of that late last night.
I did not know that, so that's new information for me.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that's cool. And it's a day that I'm not even on camera. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, what is up with that? Because I thought you were going to get ready, girl.
I was going to, and then I kind of hurt my knee a little bit, and I'm not feeling too good as a result. And I didn't sleep well, and I was just like, yeah, I'm not going on camera today.
Okay. Well,
how are you doing?
I am now fully vaccinated. Yay.
Hey.
2 more weeks for me.
Well, yeah. Jeff didn't handle it that well, but he's over it. I was fine. I didn't have any flu-like symptoms or anything. I don't know. Whatever. Cool. So I'm happy about that. And yeah, life has been pretty blah. So how about you, Gregg?
Oh, it's been all right. Lost a Facebook friends this week, and had to take my girls in for their comprehensive last night. The chihuahuas that we have.
I was going to say your yearly mammogram, but then you said chihuahuas, so
intention. So, no, they came home very, very, very still on the almost at anesthesia. No, anesthesia's right.
Sedated.
Sorry, yeah. They were very sedated. They. So the biggest issue that we have around here is that we fed the girls too much. My dad, fell for puppy eyes and would feed them table scraps all the time, so they just got fat. So we've had them on a very strict diet so they can lose a lot of weight, and they've lost some weight, so it's been good. But the other issue is that my parents aren't brushing their teeth ever. So they're literally falling out of their head. And the girls, one of the things that we pay for when we do these comprehensives is a dental exam, a dental cleaning, if you will. And of course, teeth fell out because, they're chihuahuas and this is a common thing. But also, we should have been taking care of their teeth more commonly, which I'm in my room most of the time. I'm not around the girls all the time. So, but I suppose I should have been more on my mom about it, but whatever. When I went to go pick them up last night, the girls giving me all the information about antibiotics because their teeth fell out and pain pills and all this kind of stuff. And she goes, also, do you want to keep the teeth? I went, no, fucking ew. And she laughs and she goes, you wouldn't believe what people want to keep. I was like, I get it. Still gross, still ew. And she goes, well, people keep their kids' baby teeth. And I went, again, still ew, still gross.
You could think that, but that's your kid, man.
I
That's
do
your
not.
kid. I'm not making
Mm-mm.
dolls out of them or anything, but I have them in a little box kept away
Gross.
because
Gross,
it's just
Betty.
yeah. Well, I still have the stick that I peed on that showed me I was pregnant with her, and that was fucking 17 years ago. It's sentimental,
I
man.
I get. Well, I mean, if you
But
know
I
me,
ain't
you know
keeping
that
my
I'm like.
pet's teeth. I'm not keeping my pet's
Se-
teeth. They fall out.
Oh,
Yeah,
what?
I'll do whatever.
You wouldn't take some of your
Sentimental.
dog's or cat's teeth and make some like spiky little earrings out of them.
I am not that person.
Yuck. Yucko. I'm very much. If you know me, I'm very much. I don't like sentimental things. I don't like traditional things or traditions as a whole. I think that they're silly. My dad, he talks about all the time, like, when I pass, Greg, what do you want? Well, like, what do you want to keep from me? And I was like, I'll take the fucking Star Trek Barbie that you have because that's a cool little thing. And he was like, you don't want this or this? I'm like, Dad, I don't care. Like, the memory I have of you and the lessons you taught me are way more important than the shit you have. So that's again, it could be just the way
that's nice person speak for saying I don't like any of your crap, Dad.
It's not that, like, he has an Errol Flynn because they filmed the Errol Flynn Robin Hood and Chico. So my dad actually has a poster signed by Errol Flynn, and it's a cool
That's
thing.
cool.
And it, like, if I were to get it, I think that was rad. But in my mind, that's an item that either A, I can keep on my wall and be like, that's a cool little trinket that I have, or B, fucking sell it and be like, thanks, Dad, for the money. Like, it's not a thing that represents him as a person to me. And I think that items don't represent people as a whole. And that's just how my brain works. So I'm fucking weird. I get it. Don't judge me. Don't you fucking... I see you, audience member, watching this, judging me. Don't you fucking judge me. Again, I don't like being hugged, so...
Well, that's the thing. I don't either. Lydia doesn't, either. I mean, I've made it very clear to family members, if she doesn't want to hug you, you don't get to hug her. That's her choice, her body, her choice, whatever. Except for Heather always invades that space, and it's hilarious. Lydia takes it like a champ, though. I mean, Heather's very much a touchy-feely person, and we are not a touchy-feely family. It's,
yeah.
I love you. I will tell you I love you all day long, but I don't have to touch you.
Yeah. I mean, tell me that you love me and then make a joke about me and we're good.
Yeah.
I'm very handsy. Like,
don't you fucking touch me.
Very
Maya?
No. I'm sorry, but you're getting hugged. When you finally make it over this way the next time you do, you're so getting, like, just the rapiest hug I can produce.
Boy, that's
fair warning.
That's, I'll stay in California. I appreciate it, though.
No.
No, I like the truth be told, like, even though I don't like hugging and I don't like being touched, I still hug if, I haven't seen somebody in a long time and they want a hug. I'll just be like, whatever. It's not like I'm like, fucking get off of me. It's not, I don't.
Oh, yeah.
You will be by the time I'm done.
Don't sound like that.
Well, I mean, honestly, we were raised in a generation where, yes, you had to hug people whether you liked it or not. So we just learned how to deal with it, I mean,
yeah,
that's
like, how I see it.
Yeah,
deal with it.
It's just one of those things.
My nephews love, like, go ahead.
It's like watching some of them old 1950s PSAs that they would show school children, and it was just pretty much expected back then that women had to take being touched by men. And this was very much implied in a lot of these videos. And I'm like, wow, this is some fucked up shit you taught our children. No wonder the boomers are fucked up.
Yeah.
Now I know why.
I very much like my nephews loved to hug me when I'd come over, and I just deal with it, like pet. But the one thing they did that I couldn't, like, I was like, you can't do that with me, was cuddle. Get off of me. I'm already hot. Get off of me. I love you too, bud. Get off of me. Like the girlfriends that I've had would want to cuddle, and I'm like, let's do something else where we're not on top of each other. Is that cool?
You need to find a girl who doesn't like cuddling too, because I'm one of those people. It's like I love Jeff to death, but after a couple of minutes, he's like a bear. He radiates heat, and I'm just like, okay, you have to back off now, man, because I'm sweating. The
last girl that I was with was just like, I like cuddling with you because you're so warm, and I'm like, and I don't like it because I'm about to fucking start sweating through my asshole. Can we please just do something else?
That's called diarrhea.
Don't. I said a second ago, Maya, not to judge me, and you go and judge me about the diarrhea when I'm hot.
Why? No, not at all.
Could you imagine that if somebody actually had that like weird disability where they were just like, when I get really hot, it's just liquid death?
No, that's their mutant power. Shittiest mutant power ever. It's like, what's your mutant power?
No,
I sweat through my asshole.
This shittiest mutant power is the one you sent this yesterday about the Ted Cruz thing.
Oh, that was funny.
That was so bad. It was funny.
Instead of the sneaked, sounds like just plunging hot dogs into pudding.
Was that you and somebody else, or did you just find that as a meme?
I found that as a meme. Sadly, I wish I had come up with that.
Oh my god, it was so fucking funny. The for the audience who hasn't seen it, it's literally somebody was like, because of Ted Cruz's like weird mutton chops that look off kilter, and it's just, he goes, instead of claws, it's just 3 penises that come out of his hand, and but they're like flaccid still.
It sounds like plunging hot dogs into pudding. We're shaking around a half full jar of mayonnaise.
It's so fucking funny. The one, like, back in the day, I used to gross people out by saying, like, do you know what necrophilia sounds like? And they're like, no. And I'm like, take a large jar of mayonnaise and just stick your fist in it.
Ew.
Anyway, guys, hi, welcome to the podcast. If you're new, I'm sure we chased you off.
If you're still here, fuck yeah, you're that kind of people.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to be reviewing 2 things today. The episode 2 of Falcon and Winter Soldier. And Betty brought something up to us, like I think it was Saturday, well after recording a new show on Netflix called The Irregulars, which we'll get into that as the second discussion today. Yeah, before we get into that, I wanted to ask you guys, when will the religious right realize that when they start making a big deal about something because of a Satanistic thing, that we're just going to keep, like, it's just going to get more and more popular? Like, when will they realize that?
I don't think they ever will.
God, this little Nas X thing is so fucking funny to me.
Oh, it is.
I've not even watched it yet, but I'm like,
neither have I.
I sent y'all the link.
I know, but I had to watch the Irregulars.
I'll put it this way:
I couldn't take 3 minutes.
I'm genuinely not the world's biggest fan of Lil Nas X music. Like, Old Town Road was okay, but it wasn't like a great song.
It's catchy.
Sure, it was catchy, and that's why it was popular for a hot minute. And I've heard snippets of "Call Me by Your Name" on TikTok, and it sounds fine. Like, I'm not sitting there like it's a bad song, but it's definitely not my jam to begin with.
I was surprised. I actually liked it, and the video was cinematically very well done. It was a very beautiful video. Even Jeff said it was a beautifully done video.
Yeah, I definitely need to watch the video because I want because I've seen like clips of it on TikTok, and the funniest joke to me on TikTok, by the way, Betty, that you would fucking get a kick out of is people like at the gate of heaven going like, yeah, I was like, I was a good person or something like that, and then all of a sudden the song just like goes from like, like and they're like, oh shit, was that Lil Nas X? Fucking killing me. It's so fucking funny.
It's a stripper pole. He's got a stripper pole from heaven all the way to hell. I mean, just fabulous video.
God,
actually a good song. So yeah, I mean, good for him. I love it. The Satan shoes, fabulous. You go for that. I don't know whose blood they're putting in there. I hope it's not like, sweatshop people or some shit, but
No, that's where they get it. They have to. I think they're contractually obligated to get the blood of sweatshop workers.
For me to buy those shoes, I want Lil Nas X's blood in every fucking pair, you know? That would be dedication right there.
They're just like 99%, 99.9% fucking red dye, and then a drop of human blood. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yep.
So who cares? Like, and that could be a total fucking lie. Like, it doesn't matter because you can't fucking, you're not going to be able to be like, oh, well, prove it.
Well, you know, as bad as conservatives tend to be at the telephone game, I'm surprised they're not claiming that he's making them out of fetuses or something at this point. Aborted fetuses. You know, I mean.
That's what they use to make the little plastic tabs on the end of the laces.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember what those are called, but they have a name. Agulets?
Yeah. Did you guys see sure. The conversation between Lil Nas X, not conversation, the whatever the fuck you want to call it, between him and Caitlyn Bennett on Twitter?
No, but I saw an edited version of Caitlyn Bennett's comments and just made my absolute day.
Oh my god. The best part was like she got all fucking weirdly racist and was just like, do you miss your dad or did your dad leave or something to that effect? And his response was
that's
like,
not only racist, it's classist, bitch. You know, you think rich people's daddies don't go away? Because they do. You know?
It's so fucked up. And then so his response was so great. And it was like basically like, no, my dad, you know, he didn't leave, but I'll come over there and fuck your dad. It's like, damn, dude.
Yeah, I saw an edited comment of that. Somebody took her comment and edited it and said, at least I can procreate with my dad. Is what her response was. I mean, I wouldn't put it past her to fucking type that shit.
God, it's so fucking funny. But yeah, I think, you know, that's like Lil Nas X got the best fucking advertisement he could ask for by the religious right saying this song, you know, like, holy shit. Like if I was him, I'd be ecstatic right now, which I'm sure he is. I legitimately 100% am sure that he's just like, this is the greatest thing in my life.
Well, you know, it's one of those things. I'm sorry. Every time I hear that conservatives don't like a new piece of media, I immediately seek it out to see what the conservatives don't like because I'm going to love it. I know if they hate it, I'm going to love it. So
pretty much.
That's just how I roll.
Pretty much. I mean,
it's
I feast on conservative tears.
All right. Well,
doctor said I had way too much sodium in my diet as a result.
Oh shit.
Yeah, well, salty tears will do that. All right. Well, let's talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 2. Let's dive into that bitch. In this episode, this is the first time that Bucky and Sam are meeting since, you know, Endgame, I imagine. Because they didn't meet in the first episode. And there is now conflict between them because Sam, you know, basically gave up Captain America's shield. And Bucky's not okay with that. So they team up to go fight the Flag Smashers or to find out more information about them. And in the process, the fucking banter between them was so much fun.
So what's their official name? The bad people?
The Flag Smashers.
Now, see, why not just call them the Red Hand? Because there's a big fucking red hand on their masks.
Because the red hand already exists within the Marvel canon. Also,
then why did they even do that?
Well, they're not called the Red Hand; they're just called the Hand, and their colors are red. But yeah, that's weird.
I can tell you why. I can tell you why they call them the Flag Smashers. It's because there's a character in the comic books called Flag Smasher, and his name is Carl Mortenthau. Where in the show they wanted to have that character be a big part of Bucky and Sam's story because the Flag Smasher fought Captain America a lot. And one of the big themes of the show that they're really diving into is the repercussions of having a fucking superhero with the goddamn American flag on it. And the comics dived into that quite a bit. One of the big themes of this show that I think is super fucking important, and we'll talk about in a minute, is his last name is Bradley. I'm drawing a blank on his first name, but Isaiah Bradley. Betty, I'm sure you've heard about the Tuskegee experiments, right?
Oh yeah.
In the comic books, about 2003, I think,
2003.
Captain America found out about the Black Captain America, and this was Isaiah Bradley. He was part of a series of experiments that our government, was doing on black men from Tuskegee to make another super soldier, and it dismembered and disfigured a lot of black men in the process, and Isaiah was the only one that was not disfigured. This was Captain America going through the process of, my country has done some disgusting fucking things, and really kind of broadened that aspect. I believe the show was going to do the same thing. I mean, they're already setting the groundwork for it. Multiple scenes in this show kind of were just like, this is real issues that exist in our world that we're bringing into Marvel, and I'm like, fucking finally.
And it's not dark and gritty and brooding and saying fuck like the Snyder Cut. Sorry,
but the reason that I bring that up, Eddie, is because Flag Smasher was a character in the comics that constantly brought that to its head with Captain America. Having the idea of like full-on borders and not having a global economy and stuff like that was something that Carl was very much against, something that the Flag Smashers is very much against. The girl that's part of the Flag Smashers in the show, like she had that curly reddish hair, she is the MCU version of Carl, because her name is literally Carly. It's Karli. Whereas the other the Carl is just Carl without the I. All they did was add an I to her name, and it's the exact same name.
I think it was Kharli, but
did I say C? Did I say C?
No, you said K.
Oh, no. So I did some research on this because I was like, I want to get this right. They literally just added an I at the end of Carl. They didn't change the spelling of it or anything like that. It's even on the IMDb.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's not to mention I watched the shows with subtitles. So.
They're basically keeping it as the same character, just put a gender bend on it instead of making it like his daughter or something.
The other big thing they're changing is that the Flag Smasher was one guy in the comic. The Flag Smashers is an organization. So that's why they're called the Flag Smashers more than anything, Betty, is because they just wanted to keep that name in relating to Captain America.
Still to change the masks. You didn't have to do that. Because that's the first thing I think of with them on the masks on. I'm like, it's the Red Hand. Like,
yeah. I mean,
no flags involved.
I'm excited for when this show ends and us to get the behind the scenes episode like we did with WandaVision, if they talk about like the design behind the hand, because in the comic the Flag Smasher logo is like a hammer hitting the earth.
Yeah.
So,
and this is a hand kind of like spread behind the earth. Because that whole one world, one people mantra that they were saying.
So I'm fucking in love with this show right now. Like I'm so happy that they're talking about, they're using real world things, in Marvel, because something that I've expressed before, not on just this podcast, but other things that I've done, is that Marvel comic books as a whole have always been a political outlet in some fashion or form. For fuck's sake, the first Captain America comic has Captain America literally punching Hitler in the goddamn face. And that comic came out before America even entered World War II. Yeah. So, like, if you're sitting there going, the comic books have never been political, you're an idiot.
They've always been political.
Always. I mean, what the fuck do people think the X-Men is? Just cool mutants? Nope.
No, you're supposed to learn a lesson from this shit. If you're not learning, you're not reading it right.
So that's why I hope that they continue to go down the route of Isaiah Bradley. I hope that they continue to do that.
What happened right outside when, they left and the police showed up, that was very much a Black Lives Matter moment right there.
Absolutely.
Oh, some absolute racial profiling.
And
it happened in Baltimore.
And, the one they actually ended up arresting was the white guy. So, I mean, again, that struck me when that scene came out. The Isaiah thing, I don't know what he's going to play into this, but I think he's going to bring another, level of depth to it as well. And I have to say, I don't like this Captain America. I really just want to smash a pie in his face.
Yeah.
He just 100%. Looks smarmy,
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a
him
line
getting his ass kicked was great. I mean, and then he picks the dudes up walking like, oh ha ha. Dude, you got your motherfucking ass whooped. Don't even.
So there's a line that he says while they're in that scene, Betty, that really stuck out to me. And it's him talking about how he basically gets to be Captain America and have the shield because the government has those things. That, to me, is very much a fascist viewpoint. Not outlandishly fascist, but definitely in the ballpark, because having undying loyalty to a government is fascism light, if you will. And in Civil War, the big aspect there was that Captain America was not 100% behind the idea of the government controlling everything. He was like, this is that's the whole fucking point. He's not meant to be I had this thought the other day, and I'm trying to fucking collect it now. Cap is not 100% everything America does is great, and I'm going to fight against what I believe is a proper way to live in America, a proper way to look at patriotism and stuff like that. And when you look at John Walker, he would have signed the Sokovia Accords. He would have signed it. Shit, he probably has signed it. Whereas Cap didn't. Cap was like, this is wrong. This is controlling people to a high degree. This is wrong. And I love that they're running with that aspect too. I love that they're playing with the idea of trying to express patriotism, that people try to express patriotism as undying loyalty to your country. And giving that to a character that we're not supposed to like. I also love the fact that he's not the villain of the show.
Okay.
He's not. He won't be.
Okay. I still don't like him.
No, you're not supposed to.
No, you're not supposed to like him. His character in the comics is always a smarmy, abrasive guy anyway.
Yeah, I don't like it at all.
No, you're absolutely in the right.
Sort of normal at the very beginning when he was talking to his wife. I was like, oh, he seems like an okay guy. No, man, no. Did not like it.
I'll put it this way, Betty. John Walker is very much a Trump supporter.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah. Not my kind of guy at all.
Right, and that's what I like about it is that I had this conversation with a guy on Twitter. This was literally Saturday morning or Friday afternoon or something to that effect. And it had to do with the fact that the opening scene with him, I'm trying to find it. I just found it and it went away. Here we go. So he says, All right, I'm going to avoid spoilers here, but call out the setting of a scene in Falcon and Winter Soldier. This guy's Canadian, by the way, so just keep that in mind. Of the Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 2, you know that Good Morning America scene? That was a fucking high school. What the fuck? And I said, I'm failing to see the issue with the scene here. Genuinely, no flippant tone. And so he sends me a link to when Stephen Fry went to an Alabama high school during a football game. And Stephen Fry's like takeaway was like, no other country does this sort of thing with adolescents. That only America is so infatuated with football and patriotism through high school and stuff like that, that this exists. I've known that for a long time. I've known that for a very long time. Like, the way the school system works is like, if you're in sports and you're doing great, you're a fucking star. And the school will do everything they can to make sure you get high grades to stay. Whereas if you get injured or you're no longer viable to them in that fashion, they could give two fucks about you.
Yeah.
And so I've known that. So I responded with, couldn't it be argued that the showrunners wanted that level of symbolism for a faux Captain America? And he goes, if you like. And I went, I just think the underlining theme of how shitty America can be, that swept under the rug via this fictional reality. That scene was more of just that, to me at least. And he goes, I think that's definitely part of what they're going on. But it's wild to a lot of non-Americans that the scene could even plausibly be a high school, even given the fiction. While I don't think a lot of Americans even question that scene being a high school, that's interesting to me. The idea of that character being a product of a privileged bubble is definitely there, though, to your point. And I said, there was a documentary I watched a long time ago about the damage high school football does on education and health. As an American, I hate it. I hate high school. Like, I hate the way that works. So to see that, it just made sense to me that the government would implant that as like faux patriotism with that scene. And he says, yes, and disparity seems to be a developing theme.
I don't understand the questioning it being a high school thing. I mean,
let me ask you this, Betty. In your region of the world, do high schools value football higher than most things?
oh, absolutely.
More than anything else in high school.
Yeah.
Even more than the education that the kids are supposed to be receiving.
They will cut, like art and music classes before they will cut football. They will cut girls' sports teams before they cut football. Football is big business here. Everybody's hoping they can be the next, Peyton Manning. That's really what it is.
This goes directly in line with what he's referring to. America is the only country that does that. If you get into sports in another country, it's not taken to that degree. It's usually just no matter the given scenario, it's only given the scenario, I had like a brain fart there for a second. It's usually just parents and family that come to those high school, or they don't even call it high school. That's like, they call it something else, but those games. And so like the video that he sends of Stephen Fry talking about it, and I've talked to other people from England and Canada and Australia, and how drastically different it is, I think speaks to how Americans kind of view patriotism. That football is patriotic, period. High school football is like growing patriotism. You're developing, like, why in the fresh fuck do we have to do the national anthem at sporting events? Why? It doesn't matter. It's not like it's something that needs to be there, but we do it because it's that sense of patriotism. And the point that he's getting at is to see that in this show about fictional characters was very bizarre to him because he's Canadian. To which my point was that made sense to me. That this fake Captain America, who's not Captain America, he was just given the fucking outfit by the government, that the government would send him to his fucking high school on a football field with a fucking marching band and a huge cheering crowd on
absolutely.
Very American morning show. Like, all of that entire scene was fabricated to make him look better and to look more patriotic.
Hometown boy.
And I think the point of this show is that because you're supposed to hate John Walker, that when other scenes happen where you learn, like when we learn about who Isaiah Bradley is to a stronger degree, the fact that he served 30 years in jail while saving America, or after saving America, is going to speak to what my favorite thing about this show will be. Like, yeah, I love the action sequences. They're so good. But the themes that are going to be used in this are going to A, piss people off like they did in the Watchmen show, and B, are necessary to the time.
Yeah. I mean, we can't seem to talk about it, on a bigger level. So we've got to at least talk about it on a level that everybody has access to, and that's typically these types of shows. I mean, if you don't get it before, the hope is you will after it's all said and done.
Yeah. I think the thing that's outside of the racial stuff, and we're talking about the faux patriotism, that's why I'm so excited that the Flag Smashers exist too, is that their entire perception of what they exist for is going to fall in line with like it's the polar antithesis opposite of John Walker. Like it's John Walker is strong borders, America first, yada yada yada. Flag Smashers are fuck all that. Fuck all that noise. Like patriotism is bullshit. Borders are bullshit. But they're like it's just I'm excited. I'm so excited.
So gotta ask at the end of it there, who was that guy?
That's going to be Baron Zemo. He was the main villain in was it Winter Soldier or Civil War?
Okay,
No,
I was
Civil
like,
War.
I know I recognize this face. Who is that guy? Why is he there? I was like, what? So yeah, I guess that gives us a clue as to what we'll be seeing going on next week.
Yeah, Baron Zemo's story is that he watched his family die in the Sokovia attack. He then learned about Hydra and learned about the Winter Soldier, and then tried to utilize certain aspects of Bucky's like brainwashing to make the Avengers essentially split. Like he set up a lot of stuff that made Civil War happen. So
cute.
And now he's in jail. I'd like to know the one thing for me that I'd like to know is like, and I hope they explore this, this next episode is, was Baron Zemo blipped? Like, was he gone for 5 years and then just reappeared in a fucking prison cell? Or has he been around for 5 fucking years? Just stewing in his hatred. So, sorry. I know I get really passionate about this, like this Marvel stuff.
No, that's a good point. Was he there or not?
Luna, can you not like my book, please?
Because if he's been there for 5 years, he probably has plans. He probably has a scheme that he's running right now. So.
Oh yes, he looked very pensive.
I also like to know who the broker is. When
the power
the Flag
broker.
Smashers were running, power broker, yeah. Who the fuck is that?
We'll find out.
Like I've looked up, like I've typed into Google Marvel. I've typed in Marvel power broker and I found jack shit.
I know one thing: they went from having 8 Flag Smashers to 7.
It's true.
Girl, you're gonna fall.
Also, like one of the things that I think is interesting regarding the world that we're in is
what happened to Maya?
I do not know.
Ooh.
It's still live. So
yeah,
it's still
there she is.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, what?
That was weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
I could hear everything you were saying, because I was still backstage. You can still hear.
Yeah.
on
Okay.
StreamYard. No, I switched over here because it's getting a little warm in here in this room. So I switched over here to turn the fan up from the low setting to the next setting up, and the audio and everything cut them out immediately. I'm like, what the hell? I'm going to put it up on high now, and we're going to see what happens. So bear
That's
with
weird
me.
as hell.
I think I may have actually hit. It's on high now. I hope you can't hear it, but if you do, yeah.
Nah.
I think it's where I accidentally hit the. I may have hit the cable and knocked the cable loose
Oh,
because
okay.
it's a very loose connection.
Gotcha. What I was gonna say is that the like who's supplying the Flag Smashers with the Super Soldier Serum? What Super Soldier Serum is it? Was it the same one that was given to Isaiah? Like, there's a lot of questions involving the Super Soldier Serum that I'm very fascinated.
Or is it the one that the Russians developed?
Yeah,
You know,
there's a
yeah. I'm enjoying it so far. I really like it.
Can you believe this thing is only 6 episodes long?
Is it?
I thought it'd be like 9, but it's only 6.
Wow.
They only got 4 episodes left.
I haven't looked up the episode count.
I saw it accidentally on Twitter. Like somebody was like, "It's only 6 episodes," and I was like, "What?" And I looked it up. I was like, "Wow, it's only 6 episodes long." I mean, if that's the case, then it's roughly the same length as WandaVision, like give or take.
Yeah, because WandaVision was 9 episodes.
Yeah,
but they were like shorter episodes by 15, 20 minutes on average length.
Yeah. Well, why don't we go ahead and give this episode a grade? And I want Betty to go first.
Well, again, I'll give it a B+. I do like the story. It's not capturing me as much as WandaVision did, but I do like the story. I'm curious to see where it goes. I'm a little confused now that there's only going to be 6 episodes, but it's not bad. I like it. So B+. What about you, Maya?
I'll give it an A. I think it's it's solid. It's touching on a lot of things that are familiar from the comics, and real world issues at that, bringing to light some things in the MCU. It doesn't seem like it's going to ignore or skirt around issues. It looks like it's going to bring them to discussion, and I think that always helps when a story does that. When like the Tuskegee experiments, something like that would make people look into that more and research it more and raise awareness about things that are largely brushed over or glossed over in history or completely forgotten about and not even taught. So I think that's a cool thing. And I think that can stem from this. And regardless, even if it doesn't, I still think it's just a lot of fun with the serious overtones. So I like that. What do you think, Greg?
It's A+, 100% A+. Like, I absolutely love every aspect of this episode. You had hilarious like buddy cop banter between Bucky and Sam that was like the whole fucking Hobbit line. Like, how do you know Gandalf? Because I read The Hobbit in 1937 when it first came out. Fucking, I adored
that. That was funny as shit.
Yeah, it was very much a burn.
The whole the action in it was fucking top notch. The aspect of making the audience understand who John Walker is as kind of a shitty person was awesome. Like, I love that. I love that the Flag Smashers are getting more interesting. We now have a new mystery about who the power broker is. They're bringing in the racial injustice stuff that I think is super important to the whole plot. Like, if I had one critique of the episode, is I wish they stayed a little bit longer on Bradley, but I feel like that will be something that they explore later. It had a nice little cliffhanger to where I was like, oh, sweet, they're going to go meet Baron Zemo. And then it cut to credits. And I was like, motherfucker. So,
yeah, I did the same thing.
Fucking top notch, fucking, for me, top notch storytelling. And I'm very excited for the future.
one line that I did enjoy when Sam's telling Bucky, he says, "Look, all this time and nobody's mentioned Isaiah Bradley before now. Well, Isaiah before now. Why didn't you tell me about him? Why didn't Steve tell me about him?" He's like, "Steve didn't know." He's like, "Why didn't you tell anybody?" And the line he said, "Because he'd been through enough." That was just, I was like, yeah, I like that. That was powerful.
That's exactly. I mean, that's essentially what existed in the comic was, Bucky was swept under, or not Bucky, Bradley was swept under the rug because if anyone did know about him, they it was either A, they felt bad for him and he had gone through enough, or B, that because that's the thing in the comic is that in the show he says, "I spent 30 years in jail, in prison." The Isaiah Bradley from the comic also spent 20 years in jail. So they're very much like Yoink from the comics, and I think it's brilliant, especially for the time. So, but
absolutely.
So the other show that we're going to talk about today is something that, like I said in the beginning of the episode, Betty brought to our attention because she was excited about it from the trailer. I hadn't even heard of it. I didn't even watch the trailer. I was just like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's add the show. It's called The Irregulars. It takes place in the late 1800s, around the time of Sherlock Holmes, and he's in the show, but not directly. It's about the street urchins that, if you've read a few of the books in the past, or of some of the movies, Sherlock Holmes and Watson tend to utilize street urchins to help them with something. The
idea of London.
Yeah, exactly. And Watson calls them the Baker Street Irregulars. Well, the idea for this show was, what if the Irregulars are a little bit older and this show deals with supernatural shit? Go. And the show fucking just snowballs into some shit.
Yeah, I did.
I didn't think I was going to like this show going into it. I did the first episode didn't excite me. But as I kept watching it, I was like, by episode 5, I was like, what the fuck is Watson up to? And why is what is this going on?
There's some mystery, and you're like, I need some answers.
I got invested. I was like, I didn't think I was going to, but yeah, here we are. This is water, folks, by the way. I keep jugs of water in my room.
That is actually a jug of vodka. He just doesn't want you to know.
Look,
no, it's White Claw.
Right
Gregg on a gallon of White Claw. Now that's funny.
Yeah, I've got grapefruit juice with a lot of water mixed in. So
I have some White Claws in the fridge, actually.
I've got coffee coming momentarily. Any moment. I heard Misty
Earl
stirring
Grey
it.
tea. This is pretentious right here. You gotta lift your pinky out when you hold it. Yeah.
I think as large as that cup is and as small as you are, you need every finger on that mug.
Almost, yeah. I mean, it's like when I go to get we're at Charlie's and we get the large drinks, I have to hold it with both hands. My hands are so small. I'm just like, if I don't hold it with both hands, it's just going to fall and it's going to go everywhere. It's really bad.
We mentioned on the show, Betty is a tiny person.
Yes.
Thank you, honey.
Speaking of tea, this it was nice to see the guy from Game of Thrones, as one of the side characters, one of the characters they're hunting down, the bird master, as they call them.
Oh, Arthur. Yeah, I like Arthur, but I've seen him in lots of things. The first thing I don't think of Game of Thrones when I think of him. I don't know why.
He was one of my favorite characters in Game of Thrones. He was the Hound.
Yeah, I love the Hound, but I read the books long before the series came out. Long before most people had ever heard of it. I really didn't get into the series that much. I watched it because, but yeah. So I don't. Those characters don't really sit with me. The ones in my head do from when I read the book, but. Nah, he's been in other things. He's a good actor. I love him. So when he was the Birdman, I was like, yay.
I loved him in Hot Fuzz.
Was he in Hot Fuzz?
Yeah.
Ever since I've seen that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like when getting into the show, I was like, oh, it's gonna be a monster of the week sort of thing, and then they hit that castle where they couldn't escape it. That it became a game of Clue, and
I'm glad you noticed that because I thought the same thing too. I was like, it's kind of mustard in the drawing room with a candlestick.
100% thought of that. The part about it that stuck out to me was like the one of the workers was like, yeah, there's something sinister with, maybe not sinister, but there's something up with Watson. Like he's keeping Sherlock away from us. So I was like, okay, I want to know what's up with that. Like, why is that a thing? Like, I got interested in that. And then it stopped, like, I think it was like the next episode, like episode 4, it completely stopped being a monster of the week. I thought it was just going to be like Watson constantly giving them new missions, and that was going to be the whole show. And then it was like they got into a fight with Watson, and he pushes them away and was like, never come back to 221 B Baker Street. And I was like, well, how are they going to get new missions? Like, how is this show going to go? And then it just like went into more shit. And I was like, wow, this is actually kind of interesting.
Yeah, he lost his shit when they went up to look for him in the room and he wasn't there. You know, he really lost it. But I kind of figured what was up. You know,
there were a lot of predictability things. Yeah, like the Linen Man.
Well, it is young adult, so
yeah.
If you've got a brain and you're an adult, there's going to be a high amount of probability.
Young adult is a very polite way of saying it's too goddamn CW.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Like, if it was CW, half of the episodes would have been about the love interest shit.
Oh, there would have been a lot more sexy times going on.
I mean, there was a lot of it. There was enough of it as it was. I feel that the whole love triangle between Billy, Leopold, and B, I think, detracted from the main story. I think you could have taken these episodes, shortened them by 15, 20 minutes each, take out that whole subplot, and stay focused on the task. And I think it would have been a better show. I think it was flawed in its execution, and it used way too many tropes that were way too predictable.
Yeah, well, you gotta think about it as well, though. I mean, if they had done as you said, it would not have been a young adult book. You know, I mean, it's set up in a way, again, young people today like those love triangles, that it's their form of courtly love in a way, you know, an unrequited love type thing. Will they ever be together? Because it is very much a trope, but all stories are tropes.
Oh yeah,
yeah. When it comes down to it was obvious, but they didn't rub it in your face, you know.
That's exactly my point. Is it didn't feel like it was so.
We're clearly not the target demographic. We're clearly not the target demographic either.
But I mean, I liked it. I mean, I do love young adult, you know, novels and, you know, movies. Because there's always going to be that 16-year-old me that lives inside of me. So yeah, I do enjoy that stuff.
I was going to say this, the way that it was structured felt like, hey, we made this show for teenage kids, but it's tolerable by parents, is what it came across to me as. Because again, like, I've watched episodes of Riverdale, I've watched episodes of other things on CW, and it would have been more if it was on CW. It would have been obnoxiously more.
Oh, it would have been so obnoxious. And yeah, because Riverdale, it's not what I was expecting at all. I was like,
I don't necessarily disagree with you, Maya. I think that reducing the amount that it had in the show would have helped a bit, but I still don't think it was so much that like it detracted too much.
And plus there's hope for Billy yet. You know, Leo's going across to Europe to marry Helena, who's like, you know, get you some practice in. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I don't care, but yeah, sure.
I mean, you know, I thought that was like, oh, that's convenient.
so after
that's another thing about this show. Everything was so convenient, like.
Well, it has to be, you know, again, the way they played it out when it only has 8 episodes, Yeah, that was a big story to tell in 8 episodes. So everything had to be very convenient so you could move from one stepping stone to the next to the next to the next. You know, 'cause-
Speaking of moving, this is like late 1890s. How are these kids just know exactly where they are without cell phones? You know, it's like, I've got to go get the boys. And all of a sudden they're all there and perfect, but yet there's, as they pointed out in the first episode, there's 4 million people in London. It's not that easy to find people, but yet they are always able to find each other no matter what.
you tend to stick to the streets, most people and back then in the London boroughs stayed within their boroughs. They didn't really go outside of them, and especially with them and being in the much lower class, they weren't going to the upper crust areas because everybody was going to know you and that you were not supposed to be there.
I also want to use my classic argument for some logic like that, Maya, and that's, did you notice the guy that shot birds out of his chest?
Yeah.
I could care less that there was that level of convenience when there's a girl who is putting on faces and looking exactly like the people that she was taking the faces of. It's the classic, like the argument that I use all the time is like, somebody's like, oh, that was weird that character survived that fall in a Marvel movie. And I'm like, yeah, there's a talking raccoon. We want to go down this route. Like, I get where you're coming from. I understand what you're saying. To me, it's just kind of like a weird nitpick to make about something in regards to this show. Do you get where I'm coming from with that? Like, I know I'm not trying to call you out.
No, I get it. To me, it was just so, it was really disjointed at times and jarring how convenient some of the stuff was and how it just looked so easy for these kids to figure these things out when you're supposed to have.
It's about teamwork, Maya. Anything can be accomplished with teamwork.
I noticed it too. I'm not saying it's not something that my adult brain didn't go, huh? Yeah, that's weird.
It's like the Scooby-Doo thing.
Yeah, I just kind of shrug it off and be like, yeah, I shrug it off and I'm just like, whatever. Like one of the things that stuck out to me that I kept thinking about was when I can never remember the main character's name. B. When Beatrice. Yeah, that's right. When she had Sherlock locked into that room, that there was absolutely no way without strapping his arm to the bed or arms to the bed or something like trapping him in that room would have worked. There's a fucking window with items in the room that he could have broken that window with. Like, none of that made necessarily correct sense to me, but it was there. Like, there's the whole spot where she's like, it wasn't even opium. It was
sugar.
And then walks out and he like charges the door screaming at her. I'm like,
yeah, I'm sorry. He would have killed that bitch. That's what a real addict would have done.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly my thought process of like certain aspects of this show. Like one of my biggest critiques about it, the thing I hated the most was, oh no, she's trapped in her own mind because of the linen man. Well, only the power of friendship can save her.
Yeah.
Like, hated that. Absolutely fucking hated that. Like, I thought it would have been a lot. Like, I get that the idea of friendship is supposed to be a main theme of the show, but it would have been so much more empowering and so much cooler if she was able to escape on her own. That she found that strength and courage to overcome the linen man's tricks and to get out of that fucking nightmare on her own would have been so much more fulfilling than fucking light as a feather, stiff as a board, light as a feather, stiff as a board.
Yeah, I love all the Ouija shit in this. And the linen man, I called him Lou because he's from Louisiana. So I was just like, that's Lou. Yeah, Lou and Leo. Which, again, did y'all notice how ripped Leo was for somebody with hemophilia?
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, you doing some good workouts for a boy who ain't never left the palace and has hemophilia and has to stay in his room all day. Yeah.
And speaking of, his handler, He's like, I can't let you leave the
Stuff.
palace, sir. Well, for somebody who's supposed to be under strict observation or supervision, let's say, he certainly does have a free reign to just stroll off and walk off unnoticed. Oh, here's this long drive. Nobody's going to notice this gangly, limpy, gimpy prince walking on down because, no.
Yeah, when Spike
was-
breaks into Buckingham Palace and the guards immediately jump on him, and then later they cut to him talking to Leo's sister. It's like, yeah, that's not how that really go down, but okay, we're just gonna go with it. Yeah.
when Spike goes to the fucking palace to talk to Leo, and they just let this fucking dirty street urchin in.
That's what I just said.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about. I didn't hear you say Spike, so I was like, I thought you were talking about a different scene entirely. My bad.
Yeah, no. When Spike breaks into the palace and the guards get on him, and next thing you know, he's talking to Leo's sister. It's like, what? No, this would not happen. He'd be in the dungeons right now, with on the rack and his fingers being crushed or some shit. Yeah.
Another thing that took me out of it was the soundtrack, the way they used the modern music. Really fucked with me and just took me out of the moment.
Does with a lot of people. I don't mind it as long as it fits what's going on. I think it can work wonderfully. That's my opinion. It's
I'll
like
put it
that.
This way. One of my favorite things about A Knight's Tale is the modern music.
I know, right?
But see, for A Knight's Tale, it works for me, and this it didn't.
I liked it.
I don't agree with you on that, Maya.
Do it.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was bad.
Well, that's why
it's not like it was in
me.
your face for every episode. It wasn't in your face every single episode, so that's okay.
I was kind of expecting them to use like the Guy Ritchie fucking soundtrack ish by the Sherlock Holmes movies that he did with Robert Downey Jr. I was expecting them to use that occasionally, but they never did.
It wouldn't appeal. To the target audience, it wouldn't. I mean, again, the music overall wasn't bad. It wasn't in your face. I've known some shows that get in your face way more about it. But it doesn't bother me because I love it when you can mix two things like that. And I'm just like, oh, I love that. Moulin Rouge was like the first introduction to me to that kind of shit. And I was like, let's have more, please.
I do have a question for you, Maya. Would there have been a genre of modern music they could have used in this that would have felt better to you than what they used? Or is it just the fact it was modern music?
I think it was just the fact that it was modern. Maybe, I don't know. It just felt disjointed to me. And I think the whole way this show was structured, just everything about it just felt off to me in some way. There was something off-putting in every episode in some way, form, or fashion. It's just, overall, it just brought it down for me and kept bringing it down. And I just could not get invested in it and didn't care what happened. And that speaks more to my taste and what I feel, than the actual execution of the show. I think the actors did fine for what they were given. I
have a big thing. I don't know if I've said this to you, Maya. I know that I've said it 1,000 times in other contexts, but whenever I talk to somebody about something and their opinion on a thing is not positive per se, I always sit there and I always will ask questions of like, how would you have done it differently? And so that's why I'm throwing that at you, because I know.
I get that.
Yeah. That's what I was asking with the music thing. Is like, would it a change in music would have changed that, or? But
I mean, that's the thing. I don't know what music I would have chosen if there were different modern music. Because to me, the musical choices they used just didn't fit the tone of the scenes when they were used to me. And that's why I feel they were more disjointed. Whereas I'm sure there are certain music numbers out there that if I had time to sit down and actually think about it and pick what would fit better for my personal taste, sure, absolutely. I just don't have that. I'm not able to plug that out of my ass right now.
Again, the musical choices they picked worked for the audience they were targeting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're clearly targeting somebody my daughter's age and not somebody my age.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, that's exactly because I think there are certain stories that take place in a time period that don't even use music from that time period, let alone I don't know how you'd get music exactly from the late 1800s.
Well, just say a basic symphonic score, like they do in movies.
Sure.
I think, that would have worked, but at the same time, it wouldn't have drawn the audience that they are trying to target with this story.
You know what's funny? You know what's really funny about this show? I did some research on the writer, and apparently he wrote this the way that it is. They didn't do a whole lot to change it, which I find fascinating because I don't think that he intended to make it for a young adult audience. I think it just happened that way.
It might if you're writing about young adults, that's what's going to happen.
Because I think you could still tell this story in a very dark way where death is super a threat. Because this show looked very much so. Everybody had plot armor. It was a very big trope to this. Everybody was safe. Nobody was really in the threat of death, unless they were slightly the two people who had their necks snapped by the nun.
That was some crazy shit. Some really,
funny.
Be careful what you pray for.
That was legitimately funny to me because whenever I see a neck snap and they want to make it visceral, it's usually the head's here facing forward and then it's facing that way. This was chiropractor's neck snap. It's okay. Well.
And then you just want to hear that line from President Scrooge from Spaceballs. Why didn't somebody tell me my ass was so big?
I think overall, for what it was, I think it worked. I do think that a lot of the characters in this, I would like to see them go on to do other things. I think they have a lot of potential. B was also in another Netflix original, Letter for the King or A Letter to the King. She was great in that. She played a not so good character in that. And this one was kind of the dynamic opposite. And I think she's a good actress, and I think she has a lot of potential to go places in the future with that. The story, I thought it was good for what it was. It was not complex. It was not meant to be. The ending was very satisfying. Not everybody made it out alive, but everybody ended up where they were supposed to be. And
I would say that nobody died, though.
Fish and chips with a fork. That bothered me. I was like, what are you doing? You do not eat fish and chips with a fork.
So real quick, I just want to clarify this. They're eating fish and chips, right? Like we normally do. Yeah, they're eating fish and chips like they're supposed to, it's in the newspaper. Right. So how do we make the prince seem more princely in that scene? Let's just say he eats it with a fork. Because that makes sense, right? Totally. Let's fucking roll it.
It wasn't the prince, though. It was Watson. When B showed up at the end and she brought that little paper of fish and chips, and they're sitting there at his desk talking to each other, and he's got the fork in his hand, and he's like, ooh.
Isn't in the scene between B and the prince at the end, when they're eating the fish and chips, before he says, "Can I talk to you outside?" She goes, "Do you not have fish and chips? Did you never eat fish and chips in the palace?" And he says, "Yeah, but we ate them with silverware.
Yeah,
we ate them on something fancy. It was in bowls or something like that." So that's what I was talking about. But yes, Watson also eating with fucking a fork and knife is
so
weird.
Bougie. Nobody eats fish and chips like that.
Well, they made him bougie by nature anyway.
Oh, I know, but that mustache is fabulous. I have to admit, I do admire that mustache.
No, I always appreciate when, like, characters. You know me. I've said it before. I like different takes on different characters. I don't like the same story being told over and over and over again. That being said, this retelling of a Sherlock Holmes story and the way it is intertwined, not for me.
That's fair.
And that's okay.
I don't think
I didn't like how they made Mycroft just a total befuddled buffoon. I didn't like how they made Sherlock and Watson pretty much fucking assholes.
Well, I've always known Sherlock to be like a drug addict asshole, so that fit perfectly with his personality. But
you should really read
personally
some of the stories with Sherlock, because he's a fucking douche.
I have the complete works. I've read them. I never got to. Yeah, but I never, characterized it as that assholey in my head. More of a smugness. More of a smugness.
Again, listen to Stephen Fry, read it on audiobook. Yeah, that's more than smug. He's a fucking douche. Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, Stephen Fry, you kill it. So
the only Sherlock Holmes book I ever read was A Study in Scarlet, and that was like right before the first Guy Ritchie movie came out, because apparently the first movie is based on A Study in Scarlet. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Sherlock Holmes stories, and again, knowing that he, was written, all these stories were written by, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who was a big supernatural believer, and he writes about this dude who debunks supernatural shit. It's just like, I don't know. That's the universe going, look at this, ha ha ha. Yeah,
I think, like I was talking to my dad about characters that are in the public what do you call that?
Domain.
Domain.
Public domain.
And Sherlock is one of those characters. All of his, like, everything involving Sherlock is in the public domain. And I love that we can get stories like this. I love that we can take these characters out of their typical, area and get new stories. Sherlock is one of my favorite characters just because of how versatile he is now. Apparently, like, there's a shit ton of characters like that too. Like Little Red Riding Hood is in public domain.
Anything not Mickey Mouse that's as old as Mickey Mouse is in public domain. Mickey Mouse should be public domain, but because of Disney, we know how that works with trademarks.
Yeah. Right. Well, H.P. Lovecraft is in public domain. It has not done well until the last series that we saw, and they finally did something different, and it made it work wonderfully. So I love public domain characters because there's so many incarnations that they can have. And not all of them are going to be good, but, some of them are going to work fabulously, and you're just going to fucking love it.
But the fact that we can have so many and be like, yeah, these are the good ones and these are the bad ones, and it's taking these characters into, like, one of my favorite things that Disney ever allowed for Mickey, which you would have seen if Mickey was in the public domain, is the game that was on the Wii called Epic Mickey. Like, that idea was so rad because it completely took Mickey out of the realm of what we know. I don't know if you guys ever played it, but the idea is that before Mickey was created, there was another character that Walt and his coworker, the guy that I can never remember his name because it's always like shrugged under the fucking rug or swept under the rug. It's a weird name too, but
it is, and I can't remember it either. I just saw something about it like last week.
Yeah. They created a character called
To the Googles.
Yeah, Google his name because I'm drawing a fat blank. But the character that they created was called Oswald the Rabbit. But Oswald never became popular, even though they made cartoons of him. So the idea of Epic Mickey is that within the cartoon realm, Oswald has been forgotten and he doesn't want to be forgotten. So he intentionally, like, fucks over Toontown or the cartoon area of the world that Mickey has to then go in and save it using a magical paintbrush. But the game is dark. Like, it has darkish looking themes. Like, you know, people say like the elephant parade from Dumbo is scary looking, or like the Brave Little Toaster has like parts that you're just like, that was terrifying. Epic Mickey kind of does a lot of that.
Okay, was the guy's name Eworks?
Ebb.
Eworks.
Ebb. Is like, imagine if it was an E sound.
Oh, okay. Because
it's B, but I've heard it called Ub. I don't know.
I heard that when I watched the documentary about him, everyone said Ebb.
Okay. That's an odd name.
It's a very strange name. Yeah, that guy should be credited for a lot of shit. Like, he created the animatronics for Disneyland. He created a lot of the cartoons. He was head of the animation for a lot of stuff. Like, Walt Disney just took a lot of credit for stuff. He's kind of like Stan Lee to Jack Kirby. Maybe not to that strong of a degree, but definitely like keep that in mind when thinking about Ebb and Walt. So, but that's whatever.
Gotcha.
The idea of Epic Mickey was a really cool idea of taking a forgotten character and making him an adversary to Mickey, and having Mickey like having to fight these kind of nightmarish cartoon creatures was a fucking awesome idea. And it was really cool of Disney to allow that to happen. But at the end of the day, Disney's not going to allow something like that to happen again for two reasons. A, it didn't do well. And B, it's not their, trademark shit. So it's frustrating. Because we can't have Mickey fucking doing rad stuff now. He's in, like, there is a cartoon on Disney Plus called I think it's The Wonderful World of Mickey or something like that. But it's fucking hilarious. Like, they really took Mickey to a very cartoonish degree, and it's really funny. Like, there's this whole scene where like Minnie gets hit by something and gets like knocked to the ground. So he has this over dramatic animation and runs over there and just goes, it's just, he gets right to her face and goes, what happened? It's so silly. Like, if you haven't watched that show on Disney Plus, I recommend it. It's really good. It does something fun with Mickey that's not like the Mickey's Clubhouse for fucking toddlers. It's like, ugh. Like, make Mickey cool again. Hashtag 2021.
I mean, disturbing things. I do have to say, for me personally, there was a bit of personal overlap with how the dreams played out, with Jess constantly stuck in nightmares. With my disorder, that was like, yay. I really love watching this. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, like, they never really explored it or explained it. It was just like, I guess plague doctors kind of look scary, so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, it's your brain can latch on to the strangest things. And, again, I don't know. This was some sort of a Sisyphus witchcraft type stuff,
I took it as it wasn't her necessarily creation because the Linen Man knew about it.
Yeah.
I took it was just like this world existed in a separate realm that she visited in her dreams.
Well, it's like, he said he can control you through your fear. That's what he does. And she, he thought he had her, and she turned around and threw it back on him. And one of the things she said is, you can't cause people pain without taking on some of it for yourself. And I was like, oh, that's very poignant. I like that. Yeah, but, she was able to twist it around on him, which, yay, kind of saw it coming. Again, it's a young adult show. I don't know if there will be a second season. I kind of see it as only a one season thing. I hope they don't try and draw it out more, because that could ruin it really quick. But, I think for what it was good. And, I
What
liked
grade
it.
would you give it?
I would definitely give it an A for what it was, young adult. I would give it an A. I think that it was spicy enough to attract the young adult crowd, and not so spicy that, some crazy parents would go, "Oh my God, you can't watch this." So I thought it was good. I like the story, and again, a young adult, you just have to kind of sit back and throw out all of your, complex adult thoughts and just let it flow, because otherwise you're not going to have a good time.
Case in point, me.
Yeah.
What grade would you give it, Maya?
That's no question.
For what it was, I'd give it a C minus. I didn't absolutely loathe it, and
Yeah, you didn't fall asleep and not finish it.
No,
You did
I
finish
just
it.
yeah, I finished it. I didn't care for the ending, but that's just me. It's just too many neat little bows on things, and too much convenience in the execution and the way the story was told for my taste, and that's a personal thing. And it's totally subjective. Objectively, I look at it and the actors are good in what they were given, and I'm not going to knock them for that. The cinematography, for what it is, they were dirty. They looked like they were living on the streets. They weren't, too pretty for their own good to be living on the streets. So, there was that air of realism to it. And I'm not going to take off for those things. It's just.
Yeah, they definitely weren't getting no bass.
I think it was just a so-so story told with a great premise. The trailer, had me excited for it. I was intrigued. I just think the execution of the premise was flawed and could have been done better. But, that's just personal. But yeah, I'd give it a C minus.
Yeah.
What about you, Greg?
It's gonna be minus for me. I'd say it went from a C minus when it started to which was meh to that's okay. It's okay. I think it's definitely, again, like Maya says, it's not. I'm not target audience. I'm 100% not target audience. But with that in mind, I think that is a very serviceable story. It's also one of the things that, Maya was talking about the disjointed or disconnection from the story because of small things. Like, one of the things that sparked into my mind was this is a story that takes over the course of a couple days, and everyone is wearing the exact same outfits. This story was very much written for cosplay. That always stuck out to me.
Poor people did wear the same outfit every fucking day back then. So it's very
there was no deviation from any of their outfits. There was a whole scene towards the end where they talk about cleaning up a little bit or changing their clothes or getting prepared, and none of the characters had changed, including the ones that weren't poor. So that's why I'm saying that. Watson wore the exact same thing.
But do you know how they actually did their bathing and clothes washing back then? Because they would wear linen undergarments. Their clothes they wouldn't wash. Their actual clothing they wouldn't wash. They would wash the linen undergarments, and they would scrub, the parts of their bodies that would show in a hand bath. But they didn't do the whole body, and they did not wash their clothing. They just washed the linens that they wore underneath their clothing, because clean linens were supposed to keep you clean and your clothes clean.
I get that, Betty. I'm not. That's. I'd say the part that was the stuff that stood out to me was that all of the urchins still had, let's get ready. We're staying in a house. Yet they still had dirty faces. It was little things like that really kind of made me chuckle.
Maybe
it didn't detract. It didn't detract from the show. I'm not judging the show based on that. I'm just saying that with that I noticed, it very much spoke to me of, we're making these characters very specifically so that way people can cosplay them if they want to. They could take any scene from that show and mark out the pieces of the outfit of any character. That's all I'm getting at. Not a bad thing or a good thing, just something I noticed. But the whole thing about the show, the reason I'm mentioning that is because that's kind of how I watched it. I didn't get like invested in any of the characters other than I was like, I got invested in what the fuck Watson was doing. But outside of that, like, it was just kind of like, I just got interested in aspects, you know, I got interested in parts of it, but not the whole thing. I thought that the reason it gets a B- is because, again, like I said, it's serviceable. It works for what it is. It puts some horror elements in there that don't really feel like they're horror elements. They just feel like they are elements that push the story forward to an extent. Like the crows, for example, there's that whole scene where they're pecking at the, like, I don't know if it was a barn that they went into, but that place they went into where all those crows are pecking at the side, like, that was a horror element. But I never thought the characters were actually in danger because all the characters are designed to be liked and impressioned upon by a younger audience. So
yeah, and most young adult books don't tend to kill their main characters, you know.
Right.
They're not taking on the Game of Thrones thing, which a lot of books do now.
And yeah, and that's part of like my thought process is when watching it, I'm not that's why I'm not super invested in the characters, because I didn't feel any real threat towards them. But I was again, I was enthralled enough to, at least in the final 4 episodes, to know what the fuck the supernatural element was. I mean, I'll admit, at first I was just kind of like, I don't really like Sherlock Holmes and a supernatural element. I'm not sure that I really dig that. But as the show went on, it kind of grew on me a bit. So, yeah, I don't know if what I just said makes sense. I'm just pointing something out. Like it's nothing bad. It's just whenever I see a show or a movie that nothing changes on the characters, I'm 100% like they're making this for people to cosplay, because cosplay is such an important thing within certain communities, within certain groups of people, that when you make a show, like they even talk about this in the writing, like there's a bunch of writers have talked about this, about making the characters look a specific way, that if you have a certain type of outfit that a character wears, you can only change the color. You don't want to change anything else. And unless color's like super fucking important to the character, you don't change jack shit. And that's 100% what this read to me as, is that they were the literally only time that the characters didn't have dirty faces. Well, I should say the girls didn't have dirty faces was when they stayed at that castle.
When they were at Mycroft's.
That was it.
Pretending to be his nieces when they really were his nieces. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, the one was.
Well, yeah, but
because like there were moments where they stayed in a place that wasn't like that underground area where they could have washed their faces, but they just didn't, because the makeup department was like, no, we want to make sure that they still have unwashed faces because people are going to cosplay them later. So that's what I'm getting at. Like there was moments of that stuck out to me, if that makes any fucking sense. It was less about the time period and more about like how I know they produced the show.
Yeah.
It's like if you watch, Falcon and Winter Soldier, look at the outfits that both Bucky and Sam wear outside of their costumes. It's the same outfits it's going to be every episode the same outfits.
Well, it's like Supernatural, same thing. It's very easy to cosplay as those characters because, they tend to wear the same things. Put on some jeans and a flannel shirt, and all of a sudden you're Dean.
Exactly, 100%. It's video games do the same thing. Tons of like you said, tons of shows do the same thing. So it's just, yeah. And whenever I see that in a show, it always kind of makes me chuckle a little bit because I'm like, huh. So yeah, I don't know, but I liked it. Yeah, I liked it enough. I think I agree that I actually really liked the idea that they got to see their mom, but realized that she couldn't stay because she was the one that kept the fucking thing closed in the first place. What I didn't like was that, Sherlock was just like, bye. I was like, okay. And I really didn't like the power of friendship because I think it took away from the character's development into being a stronger character. So, but that's whatever.
No, I get that.
Especially if it's for a younger audience, and a lot of girls are going to be watching it. Like, why not make the female character? I don't know why I say it like that. Why not make that girl a strong character that she was able to do it on her own? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why not showcase that versus like she had to have her friends there to help her. And I guess they kind of did both. It was like the friends were there for a part of it, and then it turned into later that she was able to do it on her own when she went up against the Linden Man by herself. But
well, it is important to have friends, and that sort of relationship does tend to be more important at that young adult age. So, forming those kinds of bonds as we get older, we don't tend to stick with them, So, again, it all just kind of fell into the story. And I think, we all have valid reasons for liking it and disliking it, I mean, but if I were going to recommend it to its target audience, I'd definitely say, yeah, it's worth a watch.
I'd say like, if you have teenage kids, sit down and watch it with them.
Mm-hmm.
They'll probably dig it. And you'll probably roll your eyes at a few moments, but it won't be horrible.
Yeah. Very predictable.
All right, well, I just got a concerning text from my dad about my dog, so we're going to wrap this bitch up.
Okay.
It has to do with their antibiotics, so whatever. Yeah, guys, again, sorry. That's going to do it for us. Next week, we're going to be talking about episode 3 of Falcon and Winter Soldier. And we're going to be talking about Invincible, which right now, as of recording this, has 3 episodes on Amazon Prime. A 4th one will come out, and we'll review those 4, and then continue it as it goes on weekly. So yeah, that's 2 superhero shows for you, and
2 completely different tones. As somebody who's already watched the first 3 episodes of Invincible.
Thank you, Mike. Because that's what I was trying to get at, but I was like, I don't know how to say this without spoiling it. Different tones entirely. But yeah, make sure you check those out, and then join us next week. All the socials, all of the where you can follow the website, not the website, but the podcast are going to be down below, including our Teespring store, where you can get shirts or mugs or hats or a mask, because we're still in a pandemic. You can get that on that website. If you don't know, we have a YouTube channel where we do this live. You can see our faces. Maya is a little, depending on how she feels on the day.
We record early. I'm not a morning person. And it takes me... Well, yeah, you say that. You say, I'm 3 hours behind you, and by the time I get up, you should be, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed up and at them ready to go.
I was going to say define the morning, because I feel like your morning is like 3 hours ahead of mine. Or 3 hours, like you waking up at 9 a.m. is the same as me waking up at 6 a.m. because that's how your morning is. So by the time we record this, it's almost noon for you, which I guess is still your morning.
I mean, it's 1:23 in the afternoon now as we're recording this. We've been going for almost 2 hours. No, it's not my morning, but it's now like I struggle with anything before the crack of noon.
The crack of noon.
Yeah. So I didn't sleep well last night. I got about 3.5 hours of sleep, so I just wasn't feeling like getting camera ready this morning. I'm sorry if you tuned in to see my beautiful face.
Teasing. You have to apologize.
It makes me sad.
I promise.
Well, maybe apologize.
I promise that next week I will be on camera.
It's all right. I was just making a joke. But anyway, guys, you can follow. You can if you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, that would be awesome. I need to fucking record reviews, like solo reviews, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. A lot of shit that's going on in my life. yeah, if you don't even want to watch them, just go subscribe to it. That'll help us out too. It'll get the analytics going. Or if you listen to this audio, here's an idea. If you listen to the audio of this, go to the YouTube channel and comment and like. That'll help with the algorithm too. That's all.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, give a thumbs up to each video. Take you about 5 minutes of time. That's all we ask.
If that. You can do the shit on your phone. But yeah. Other than that, folks, Maya, where can folks find you?
You can find me on Facebook under my name, Maya Don Fisher. That's a public profile, so you can follow me if you choose, and you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm more active on Facebook than anything, and primarily use Twitter and Instagram to promote the show, but sometimes I'll promote myself on there. But as for other shows, you can catch me on the Realm of Collectors YouTube channel every other Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern on Figabangin', and then every other, or not every other, but every single Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern on Nerd Life Syndicate. And that's where you can catch me. Betty, where can people find you online?
They can find me on Facebook at Betty Badger Ovaltree, and they can find me on Twitter at Bright Betty. And other than here, that's where I am. What about you, Greg?
You can find me on all socials under Chub Rock Geek. Also, Anthony and I have been doing a lot of work for the Mission Start line. He's been uploading a lot of clips or short versions of streams we did in the past. Like I said last week, the whole hyperbole thing should be up eventually, which is fucking hilarious.
Hyperbole.
Hyperbole, so fucking funny. But yeah, he should be uploading my my review of Immortals Phoenix Rising. He did not yet. I thought he had until I went to this fucking YouTube channel and it wasn't there. I was like, "What happened, dude?" And he was like, "Oh, I haven't uploaded it yet." All right, I thought you did. But
I thought I saw a notification for that too.
I guess he didn't. I don't know. He has a job and responsibility, so I get why it's taking time. He did make me laugh yesterday because he was like, "Hey, check this out," and somebody had bought the website, because we changed our website from missionstartpodcast.com to just missionstart.tv. I thought that dropping the podcast was going to be important, because if we're doing other projects on top of doing the podcast, we don't want everything to be labeled podcast. So we bought missionstart.tv, and that's what we've been using. And that, you go there to get all of our stuff when we decide to make anything. And somebody had bought the missionstartpodcast.com, and they're like a game animation studio. And when he texts me that and he sends me like, "Hey, check out who bought this," I'm like, "Who the fuck is that?" And he tells me, and I said, "Okay, I didn't know that we didn't have it anymore." He's like, "Yeah, I got rid of it. Like, why keep it? We can sell it." And I was like, "Okay, cool. How much should we get for it?" And he's like, "Well, we didn't get anything because we just, it went back to GoDaddy." I was like, "All right." But he said, "Here's the funny part. You can't Google Mission Start Podcast without finding all of our stuff. You can't find any of their stuff through Google." And he goes, "I contacted them, but I don't know if they'll ever get back to me." And I was like, "Well, that's on them."
Yeah, because that's on them to set up their meta tags and search keywords and all that.
So funny.
All right.
But yeah, everybody, that's it for me. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Make sure you watch Falcon and Winter Soldier and Invincible. Join us next week. We'll see you then.
Peace, love, and polypops.
Take care, everybody.